Bible underneath my right hand, I made it out of tight jams. Guns all on my nightstand, my life should be on Vice land. My fingertips to hold the marijuana aroma. High school, I went to school high, still got my diploma. He got riddled and left alone for some Skittles in Arizona. The same time a man dies by his own for a pair of Jordan. It's crazy how we living. We all misguided children, niggas out here getting got, trying to figure out how to get it. We the ones that's not afraid to let the hammers off. The same ones that feed the homeless with the cameras off. The life I'm living kinda hard to get a handle on, but I'm blessed and God knows I can't be mad at all.
Amber is one of my greatest friends. I met her in South Florida a few years ago, but she has started her own production company, and she started a really awesome collaborative workspace in Boca. She is one of my favorite people to talk to. I mean, she is so down to earth. She is so chill and so real.
Wow. Oh my God.
What's up, Uncreative Radio? I am with my friend, the best, Amber. Hey, I haven't seen you in a little bit. Actually, the last time I saw you was at Art Walk. It wasn't too long ago.
Right. Last time I just saw you, the bookcase, all the books just fell out.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, you got docu+brand going on. You've got the Flamingo house going on. You're kind of an all-around female badass.
Oh, I like to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I love it.
But you tell everyone kind of you were doing some stuff at Fox, but you've always kind of had this entrepreneurial kind of spirit about you.
Yeah, I can't do the 9-to-5 exchange money for time for money kind of thing.
Sure.
Came from a family of entrepreneurs, but came from ESPN, Miami Heat, Fox, left to do my own video and branding company, and then with dogs barking when I'm on the phone with the client, I'm like 4 people in the home office. I'm like, we need a work solution. So that's where the Flamingo house spawned.
And then, so what do you think I do this all the time with as obviously you're growing a brand, what do you feel like some of your biggest challenges have been? Because people think, here's what you think when you're 9 to 5, they think like, well, you know, if I could be my own boss, it's like so fun. You know what I mean? Like all the stuff people hear, like, you know, like, I don't want to do this and then work for myself. People don't understand, like, you're working harder.
Yeah, you're actually not doing 9 to 5. Now you're doing 150 hours a week.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No, and that's, but it's okay. It's just something that switches in you that I don't think everybody should be their own entrepreneur. If you have a passion that's pulling at your heart, I think you should start a side hustle to begin with and still keep that full-time job. But then make the switch when it feels comfortable and feels right.
What made you do it though? Because it's very safe when you're hustling, you're like working your thing. It's very safe.
Oh no!
But you have to have a certain amount of crazy to be able to say.
Okay, I was crazy. You actually helped me make that plunge. It was right. I think I met you a week before I left, and I just kind of. Yeah. So I was working at Fox, dream job, loved it. Right. Promotions producer.
And you were big shit there. Like,
no. We had a great team. We had a robust 12-person marketing team, and we promoted the 6 professional teams in Florida. And then before that, I had the Heat relationship, so it was awesome. I mean, but then came here, actually. We were doing a shoot here, and I was like, Eureka. I was like, you can actually have an awesome, I mean, you really are inspiring in what you guys are doing here. But no, came here, and then I just something, it wasn't that I just came here, but
no, I get it.
It was something that it was just pulling at my heart, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take the leap. Yeah. And you just literally have to jump off the cliff and like, am I gonna hit the water?
But like some people, they take the leap and they plunge to their death. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I failed. I've been broke.
but then some people like flourish, and they make the difference to me is just like how bad do you want it,
right?
You know what I mean? Because
I think I wanted to just create my own daily. I didn't want the corporate cutthroat. I wanted to come to an environment where it was a collaborative environment. It was around people who are hustling and doing. I just wanted to create
that energy.
Yes, what you do here, this culture and this community, and just it was something that I wanted to create my own daily. I did not want to. It's just something that, you know.
What has been the most challenging thing throughout it? Like on the client brand side.
On the client brand side.
I'll share some too if you go.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head when you were like, you know, the Uncreative tour you were talking about. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, we got to drop everything and do that, because I think there's a lot of great clients that you deal with. I mean, absolutely. You know, but there's some that you have to always be it spends a lot of energy.
Why are clients so afraid
of letting go?
But telling their own story. They're so focused on operations.
Yes.
And then when you're like, yo,
just be authentic.
Invest a few $1,000 in you.
Yeah.
In your company.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, I've spent so much on that. It's like,
I think they're moving forward so much on sales, making money, and they need to stop.
Right.
Get back to who they are and tell their story, and that will be the authentic growth and the organic growth.
I always feel like people are so focused on ROI, and I think that's good. But like there is the thing that makes you go viral, the things that makes brands explode are those unexplainable things that are like that are about you, your authentic story. When people hear that, that's what attaches you to a brand that like in a way that sales won't.
Yeah. And that's why I left to it. Just storytelling. I love telling the stories about the heat, and the storytelling is just it's in my DNA. I love it.
Yeah.
But that's where when you meet with these people, they already know who they're about and what's in them. So we have brainstorms and conversations, and you're like, wow, I have it already in my head of like we need to tell this story, and they're just like, well, how do just get back to being you. Just, strip it all down.
I always find that my most interesting moment is when they're like, hey, Amber, docu+brand, I want you guys to come up with this. I want you to make this thing. You come up with an idea for them. And then they're always like, no, this is what we want to do.
And then we're going to frame fuck you.
Absolutely. And they're like, we want to do it this way. We want to put this here. We want to say this. And can you imagine like me going to NASA and being like, you know what, guys, I don't like this about the space shuttle. I want to change this. I just don't think it's good. It's like, dude, you don't know. What the fuck are you talking about?
Let go. Stop frame fucking that. Like, that's what we called it at ESPN. It was like the executive producers would come in. They'd be like, go one frame that way. And you're like, what?
What?
But no, if they let go, they would have probably a better outcome. But I love collaborating as well with them. But there's a point when you gotta.
I think that the most interesting thing, and I think of this dynamic, as a creative, especially as an entrepreneur, if a client came in and said, here's 10 grand, study my brand and do something, we would feel so much pressure and we would deliver something worth 50 grand because they were just, believing in you. And you were just like, man, I've got to deliver something incredible.
And you want to over deliver.
Exactly. If you're in that mentality, you'll over deliver rather than just like, here's what I want to do with my $2,500 budget, Exactly.
No, right.
But I go through that, we go through that, especially as creators. But I think it's interesting that the difference of when I look at you is like, some people are like starving artists, and I don't think that's cool. And then some people are like so corporate, I think you're missing the boat too. Like you don't have a soul. Somewhere in the middle is where I see like people like you, people like me, where you're kind of like art and technology at the same time, like art and business. Like it's like, you can be like wild, creative, and party, but also like it's time to go on set and you're sharp and all your shit's together. Yeah,
I sit on the board of Art in Public Places in Boca, and just have found that I found a love for just art and community and but then with video and all that, there might be a client that doesn't have a budget and you have to be resourceful.
Right.
Okay, but
Absolutely.
I'm going to be honest with this budget. That's what you can do. It doesn't mean that it just means that if you have this budget, we can do this.
Right.
But just kind of being resourceful and meeting in the middle of you have to. There's times when you have to do that, put that corporate look on. But I've learned to say no to certain things that I don't want to do at this time of my life.
Yeah, and that's hard. That's hard because when you're early on and you're hustling, you're like I don't care what it is.
I turned down we turned down like probably $250,000 deal for something that I was just like it's not a good fit.
Yeah, and it's funny when you hear those numbers, you're like, oh, this is $250,000, and you take that job. It's never, and you feel like in your gut it's not worth it. It's never worth it. At the end of the day, you're like, oh, you wish you could send that money back.
We did the year before, and I was like working at 4 a.m., waking up at 6 a.m., and it was great, but it was just like it just wasn't a fit for the relationships.
Absolutely.
We're like, not gonna do that to ourselves.
Yeah, and then you think about like who you want to be and where you are.
You do a good job with that. I mean, it's like it's purposeful content, and what I love about you is you get everything you do, everything you touch turns to gold. Is quality, is quality content. I have a really hard time with perfectionism of like, oh, it's not, I don't want to get it out because it's not.
Yeah, right.
I have a problem with that because we've come from budgets that were larger, this and that, and then I have to just be like, no, you know what? It's more important to get the story out and share the content then.
I find that people forget about, if you have a good story, people forget about what it looks like, quite honest. But we have like a solid team here, but even everything we make is like, we're like, this is how we can make it better. Like I'm always talking to the guys like, if we could get this,
yeah, exactly.
we could do this. So I think that's like a never any bad, but I think that's what makes you good. If anyone that's sitting there watching their stuff going, yep, I'm perfect, I'm great, then it's like, you kind of miss a boat. Like, because everything that we're doing, I'm always like,
I just always, I dream in storyboards. I think in storyboards. I have a meeting with someone. I'm like, I already have it. I have it, and like just trust. And no, I just love, if I'm not inspired by something, I'm probably not going to do it.
Exactly.
At this point.
Yeah. I started to see the world a few years ago in frames and 2 through 5. So I'm like looking at you as like,
it's like, you walk around like this in your mind. Yeah.
And we got to work on Flow Rider together. That was awesome. We shot it in Miami. Share that story a little bit. Cause you basically, you said, hey, we got this thing with Flow Rider and Fox. And was that your first gig out?
That was my first gig out. So that's where it was like jump and fly. And we usually date before you get married. We just jumped into bed together.
Yeah,
I was like,
it was good.
When I met you and Amy, I was like, all right, this energy is,
yeah.
I know your quality work. You actually followed up with me after I met you. You're
Absolutely.
like, hey, and then my first project out, and Fox National called and said, hey, why'd you leave? And I just kind of up and left.
Right.
It was a good, it was more for me, not for anything.
Absolutely.
And then, Flow Rider was the first gig. This is a national spot.
Right.
Come in here right away, and Josh, we got to do this together. So, gosh, you made that so fun. It was a lot of pre-planning.
Yes.
I was like almost really super organized in the beginning.
You
and just
did. You had it together. It was tough too, because when I remember, I'll never forget when I was like, ooh, but was when you were like, we got to do this in an hour. It's like we went down to what Mandarin,
the Mandarin Oriental in Brickell,
and then we had Flow Rider for like an hour.
Yeah.
And we had to do some spots. We had to do like VO stuff.
I was like, stop the slating, let's go. But your crew was so on point. And then what else happened? It was before, when we were like looking at the storyboard and actually pre-prodding it.
Yes.
We were like, no, it's not supposed to be like this.
And
then,
then we're changing
and
the
then
shots.
Again,
And then we're on the phone with them, but it came out like it was madness to do, but it was beautiful. It came out really
beautiful.
good.
I just remembered, I was like, why didn't we play music on the set that day? Flow Rider's like playing his own music on his phone, and I was like, why?
I didn't even realize.
I didn't realize, because I was just so, usually I play
realize.
music, get everybody like loose and all that. I was like, but it was so well done, and I can't thank you guys enough. It was beautiful.
That was a really good one.
So we were just hanging with Flow Rider for a day.
Yeah, no big deal, whatever. What do you think now? You're a business owner, but I always think like, man, this is hard as a business owner. Especially you can see the differences as a black guy. You're like, I can see the differences as a business owner, and especially with something that's been handed to you. Like a lot of businesses, like you saw that Kylie Jenner thing. It's like self-made thing. I don't like. Come on, man. Like if you're born in that family, it's not self-made. Like that's just my standpoint. But I think it's different when you start a company that like daddy gave you, and it's different when you start a company when you say, all right, I've got like $37, or I'm leaving my job to do this. I think that's difficult. Then as a black guy, I think it's been challenging. So what are the differences for you as a woman? You're also a gay woman. Like how you're like the triple. You're like you have everything. You're like a business owner. You're a female. You're gay.
It's all against us in today's world.
And the thing that was interesting. And when we met, like I didn't know you're gay at the time, and then you were just like, and then you told me, but it was a little hesitation there, and I was like, man, I don't know what year it was, 2017, 16. I was like, the fact that there is hesitation, is fucked up, and what is that?
No, it takes me back to my whole life I dated guys, and something just was missing, and I had an aha moment when my boyfriend had his hairy arm on me, and it was a heavy, and I woke up, and that was my aha moment. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gay.
I love that it's a hairy arm.
Yeah.
See, I always, my thought is like, I told in the other episode, I see the male body. It's just disgusting. I see myself.
No, I think men are very attractive. I
disagree.
And then fell in love with a woman friend, and from there came out around when I was about 30, and basically it was a huge burden off my shoulders. I was in the closet for a bit when I was, and then when the burden came off my shoulders, and told my family, and friends.
What year is it? And when you were 30, what year is it?
7 years ago.
That's 7 years ago?
Yeah.
I don't even know what year it is right now. That's 2000.
Well, actually, it was probably like 9 years ago I really came out. But so for a decade I've known, and I think the struggle is I had to learn that you have to come out in your own heart first, your home, and then the streets. When pride's today, But I had a hard time. My family's very religious, and there's I believe in God too. I have my own relationship with God.
Absolutely.
So I just definitely believe that I'm not doing anything wrong or this and that. But there's, I think people surprise you when you do say something. They surprise you in a good way. And I think if you just be open and lift that up, but you have to be okay and proud in your heart, your home, and then the streets.
I thought that was just so interesting because I remember when you told me, I was just like, okay, what?
What's for dinner?
Exactly. Like,
right?
what next? Like, is this supposed to be a thing? But it's still, there's so much pressure.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah, it's not easy, you know. And we had Women's Day, International Women's Day last year, or this past year in March, celebrating International Women's Day, and we had a great women panelist, and you know, there's all this stigmatism of, you know, you can't get married, you can't have kids. Yeah, you can, you know, but maybe I don't want that, or maybe I'm past that. But it's heavy. It's heavy, but it's not. Once people do surprise you, they're like, great, okay.
It's tough. I'll be in meetings with clients, and just like with our sales, Beth, she's she's our VP of sales. I just notice that men just when we're talking about contracts and stuff, they just alienate her. And because they look straight at me, we're talking about stuff. Mm-hmm. They look at her and say, "Hey, did you write that down?" Like I was just in a meeting the other day.
It's known that the woman is supposed to take notes in a meeting.
But it's so bad. It almost gets offensive. I get pretty heated.
Insulting. Yeah.
And then you're just like, I'm gonna lose this client. But it's just like it's pretty insulting. Mm-hmm. That just like I don't know, but that hasn't changed. Like the people that are at the top of these corporations and the clients that we're dealing with are still these good old boys that are just kind of like
absolutely.
And I thought about that too. Just even as a black guy, it's like, man, that's tough to be a black guy, but like. Women voted after black people could vote, right?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
We're in a women's revolution, gay revolution right now. I was in the sport world, so I thought with the men shushing you in a meeting and such was just in the sport industry. I came out and I was like, oh no, it's everywhere.
That's everywhere. Yeah, that's a thing.
So you just have to learn to stand in your own power and just. I've had a lot of difficult moments where I've actually had to stand up or lose a client, or stand up for yourself and for ultimately women's rights.
Yeah, I feel tough when you look at like presidential candidates or stuff like that. Or you look at people and it's just like even what women wear. It's kind of like, well, if you're wearing a dress or something, you're not business focused. You're not, you're not smart, and you know what I mean. You're just like a ditzy girl. Mm-hmm. Now you're wearing pantsuits enough. It's just like, oh, where's your feminine side?
Right.
You know, it's like, well, what do you want me to do?
Right.
I feel very. It's tough, and I have a daughter, and it's tough. Like when you see the way the world kind of is as far as how we treat women, and just what's happening in this era of just the internet.
There's so many labels. There's so much. It's okay to be androgynous. To dress a little swag and have a feminine.
Absolutely.
Today I'm wearing jeans, and I'm like, but I went into my closet this morning. And I was like, should I wear a dress? I saw Hannah wearing a dress last Uncreative video. I don't actually, but just be yourself.
This is you.
Like this is me in t-shirt and jeans.
Absolutely.
A lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah, and it becomes real tough. Like I don't think about what I wear any day of the week. Like I just up and gone. But I feel like women go through so much. There's so much thought. There's so much things, and then just how you are, how you act around. There's so much more judgment on women.
Yeah,
which
we
I think
can't
is real
be emotional.
Because then you're just being dramatic. You're
exactly.
Just being a girl.
Yeah, I wear my emotions on the sleeve. I don't put that away.
Same. Yeah, and I think that I love people like that.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm just kind of like, I don't need to guess how you're feeling. Just tell me.
Yeah, exactly.
Just let me know what's going on.
I think vulnerability people see as weakness, but it is such a strength to be open and just say what's on your mind and talk about it. Let's grow together, self-growth, whether it's colleagues, friends, relationship, and move forward.
I have found in general, in business and in life, that people generally just don't want honesty. Mm-hmm. They say they want it. Right. Everyone wants honesty, but most people don't.
Yeah.
Honesty comes out like direct, and it comes out like. You need friendship,
right,
to be able to understand the honesty that you know what I mean. I think that's been a big challenge for sure.
You have to foster a little bit of
the relationship.
I think we all have different personality types. One might be a little more sensitive, and so you kind of have to manage people differently. But at the end of the day, if you all come together in a unison of let's have thicker skin, let's all talk. You know what I mean?
Where do you think what do you think like when you look at the election that's coming up, like how do you. Like when you think of the world at large, like
there needs to be a woman president. I mean, I don't know when.
You know what I felt like? I felt real bad.
Like a little, like you're like, how? What?
What are we doing?
Wait, what?
And honestly, like if we're trying, if everyone was like, let's try Donald Trump, it's like, come on. Here's why I love hiring women at the studio. I love hiring women because they're always more organized. Yeah. They pay attention to detail, and they take it pretty seriously. And women are trying to. Work harder so that they can be viewed in the same way, which I think is weird. But
We need to close that pay wage gap too. I mean, everything.
But that, if we could just take that and put it in the White House, it's like, would you like someone that's more attention to detail, that's more focused, and taking it very seriously? A woman in
it seems like a no-brainer.
A female president would have so much pressure and so much. The job would just be done better, because I feel like if you have like I don't know. I feel like if you have even in this business, you have the camera business is a male-dominated industry. So if you have a female DP, she's like, I gotta do more so I can be viewed at the same level as these men, and I'm not even getting paid the same thing.
Josh for president, man.
No, no, there's two.
You're so right.
No, man. What I really like is like shooting some of these political ads with some of our clients, and you see really good people that should be in office, but I feel like people fuck that up, and we don't vote. You know what I mean? Like,
we have to show up and vote.
It's real tough. It's real tough. And I think the other thing that's really tough is, the sad thing I don't like is that there's like, how many people are running for president right now on the Democratic side? 25 or something. Like, I think that's tough. I think people just have to line up with what they feel like is right, whether it's on the right or the left. But I feel like people need to say, if it's not your candidate, that's okay. Like, whoever is actually going to be the nomination, like, that's going to be all right. Just,
we're so stuck on the right and left, and if we could just vote.
Who's got good ideas, and who's gonna not be racist? You know, like,
that's a good starting point.
Let's start there. Let's start there. Who's not gonna be misogynistic and racist? Put your hands. I see a few hands. I got a hand back here. Mark for president. But no, I feel like it's such a big deal. And you look at, and people always say like, oh, the president never really affects me, but it really does. And you look at the relations, that the split of the country that has been different since Obama left, and now, and today, like, that's apparent.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it's so hard to get a control on this. Like, I really get frustrated thinking about it. So I strip it down of how do we do it on a local level? How do we start in our communities and connect in there, and that's where I think we all just need to start. But it's out of our control. It's not out of our control, but it frustrates me. It feels like it's
completely out of control. One thing that I do like that's in our control is that I really love the idea that people are dumb. like I think like the idea that like people, you saw like that Blackfish documentary. Like, people watch that and then they go, I can't believe SeaWorld is doing this or whatever. Or same with the one, what's that documentary, the Central Park 5 that just came out?
No, I saw the Blackfish. For me,
people watch things that creatives make, and it's an authority and it's truth, right? But it pisses me off. And so part of me is like, that's really great, because you and I can make things that challenge. You can watch like you know, I know some people that weren't vegans, watched a documentary, and now vegans.
That's true.
But if you and I just talk to them, they're like, "Oh, that's not for me. That's not for me."
No, they have to show. They have to show the story. You see that
exactly. They see it for themselves.
I actually did not. Yeah, after I saw the documentary, I did not go to SeaWorld.
Exactly.
And I was, I just did not.
But that's a good thing. Like, that's someone using their powers for good.
Right.
I think the sad part of it is, it's like, why does it take a documentary? Why does it take a 5-part series for us to realize? Why aren't there people like in the judicial system saying, yo, these people are innocent?
Right.
Why did it take a documentary?
Yeah, I don't know the why, but I think that's why our job is so important, because we really visual, and you're hitting all senses. You're hitting all cylinders of their sensory, their emotions, and visual and audio, and that's what makes our job so special in storytelling. So it just it fires on all parts of your emotions.
And almost like media now and storytelling, we're almost keeping people accountable. You're saying, I'm gonna tell these stories, and maybe that lawyer or that corrections officer, whoever it is watching that, going like, hey, maybe I need to dig deeper into this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I feel like our job is to really open people up to themselves and show them either their perspective or a different perspective, and have that shift. And I think that is how we impact things, or how we change things for ourselves, and it makes me feel like we're contributing.
I think we should stop with everything we're doing and just do documentary work and get grants for that. Like, I'd love to do that.
I feel like if there was more money for that, more funds for that, and I think if more brands did that, you know, if brands did more, you know, for example, if you're Publix and you're talking about your fruits, do a documentary on these farms and these workers in these villages. People will latch on to that. Love your brand, and you're doing good.
That's why I, named my company docu+brand Creative. Is an authentic style of telling your story. You know, why are you so sales pitchy? Get back to telling the stories and inspiring people.
Man, I feel like every time I talk to you, I just want to like get out some paper and just write
Well,
something.
our brainstorms are
They're pretty
on fire.
epic.
We're like, and then this, and then this. And we have everything produced in an hour brainstorm.
Yeah, and then it's exciting. I don't know. I think that's so pumped. So it just finally on collaboration. Like our relationship started on collaboration. Like how important is it to like, because what you do and what we do can be viewed as competition, but I think what's really cool about what you have done is you really, and you kind of opened my eyes in that way. You made it like, no, there's space in this sandbox for me and you.
Yes,
but most people don't see it that way.
No, so that's where, for whatever reason, growing up and all that, I really don't like competition in soccer. I was like, I had to be taught to be competitive, and in the corporate world, it's so cutting edge. I just really got rubbed the wrong way with competition.
Right.
So I left to start a collaborative, cohesive co-working space, but doesn't just, it's called the Flamingo House. Flamingos do better together than they do alone. There you go. Hey. But it's spread out past that. So I actually give referrals to other co-working spaces. So we all team up. I mean, we do something called Creative Mornings, Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Oh, Creative Mornings.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
But also I give referrals. Someone might walk in and say, oh, it's not as an executive. I'm like, oh, you want to go down the street to, another co-working space? And they don't even know I give them referrals. I just like connecting if it's not a right fit, But collaboration, why are so many people afraid of that? It's like, I love embracing that in a way that we need to have a more collaborative culture. We'll get more things done.
I just love this conversation. Tell people what's next with you. Tell people where to find you. Give them all the Instagram and all that stuff.
Okay. How long do I have for that?
Mark's giving you like 10 seconds. I don't know how much time you got.
Dos minutos.
Miami Heat. Dwayne Wade County.
So my video and branding company is docu+brand Creative. Collaborate a lot with you. Co-working space in East Boca called the Flamingo House.
Yeah.
Flock then fly. We all come together there. We're looking to expand. Also sit on the board of Art in Public Places in Boca Raton. We're bringing some murals, some art finally to Boca. Like, I'm like, can we throw a mural on the wall here, guys?
Awesome. Yes.
And Instagram at docu+brand, at the Flamingo House, at AmberT95.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, you want to do that with Amber? Okay, we're going to do what we call now a little rapid fire. This is where you just answer questions.
Okay.
As soon as I throw them out there.
Okay. Oh, man.
You just throw them out. You just
throw
answer.
Them out.
Okay.
Throw them out.
Okay. What's that?
No right or wrong answer.
Yeah, no right or wrong answers. Okay, here we go. I don't even have any in my brain, but I'm going to think of some right now. Here we go. Okay.
I'm going to fire some back at you.
Oh, okay. Here we go. All right, so let's start some easy ones. Some easy ones. New York or L.A.?
New York.
Okay.
I like it fast.
Okay, let's see. A rock and roll or hip hop?
Hip hop.
Okay. Let's see here.
Acoustic. I'm more like acoustic.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Going out all night or reading a book in your house?
Oh gosh, that's so
Yeah.
in between. I'm an extroverted introvert, but I think going out and then going home early with not saying bye to anybody and going home and being
Perfect.
reading a book.
Okay, it's raining on Saturday and your car's broken and you can't leave. What are you doing?
I am cuddling with my dog, reading a book, or watching a movie.
Okay.
Yeah, documentary.
Okay, if you had to date Mitch McConnell or Donald Trump, who would it be?
Oh my God. Don't even. Next question. Next question. I'm gay.
It's too good. It's too good. Oh man. Okay. One thing you wish men could go through that women go through.
Shave their legs every day.
You win.
Have a menstrual cycle every month.
Win.
Have a menstrual cycle every month.
You win. You win. You win.
Well, some men do. I mean, there's metro, but
I guess.
I think the menstrual cycle.
Yeah, that would be tough. You got it. Bow down. Bow down. Amber, check her out, docu+brand. Check her out at Flamingo House. And thank you so much for coming on and hanging out.
Thanks for having me, Josh, man.